Welcome to our home.
Oh, thank you. Come in. Welcome. My name is Tracy Stewart, and today we're at the home of Vladimir Maniak. Good job, right? I said it right?
Excellent.
So we call Vladimir Vlad for short, sort of like Jim for James. So Vlad, tell me what country you're from.
I was born in USSR and Republic of Ukraine,
Okay.
because USSR used to be 16 republic,
16.
16. And one of biggest republic after Russia is Ukraine.
Really?
Yes. In city close, in town, small town, close to city Odessa in 1938.
So Odessa, so is like Odessa the capital of Ukraine?
No, capital of Ukraine, Kiev.
Kiev, okay.
Odessa is a big city near Black Sea.
So you were born near the Black Sea?
Yes. And very good weather and very good city. The city was established by a French general.
No kidding.
Yes. Richelieu, Graf Richelieu. He was in Russian army. He helped Russian to teach soldiers how to fight. And he'll stay in Russia. And he was Tsar sent him to Odessa to make the city. And his statue already for 200 years
Right.
in Odessa.
Wow.
Stay Graf Richelieu.
So now, it's officially that your city is called Odessa. You said it's near Odessa.
No, where I born was near Odessa. But later I live in Odessa.
Okay, so tell me the name again.
Odessa.
No, the city you grew up in.
Well, it's a small town. It's called Znamenka.
Namilka.
Znamenka, and it's very, very hard for translating in English.
Right. No, it's very hard to understand some of this, but I think it's important to acknowledge.
Yes,
That's
it was a
where you
small
were.
town where I was born over there, and after World War II, when World War II started, we moved all. My mother with me and my older sister, she moved to deep inside Russia.
Right.
Because of Germany started occupying and
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about growing up on the Black Sea. What was that like?
life after life was very hard because after World War II, country was very poor, and what I remember. My first coat was from United States. United States sent in 1945, sent to Russia a lot dresses for children, for adults, because country was very, very bad.
Right.
And that's what I remember. This
Your coat.
coat.
Wow. So what color was your coat? Do you remember?
It was dust, red and white. And it was very, very, very good production.
Okay. So how old were you then? About
I was 8 years old.
8 years old.
Yes.
Okay. So.
And in this time in Russia was very, very cold weather.
Right.
Yeah, it was freezing even in Odessa, what is south of Russia.
Okay.
It was minus Celsius 25 degrees.
Okay, so what is that? We use Fahrenheit, so what is that?
Oh,
Fahrenheit?
I cannot even.
Okay. All right, we'll leave that to the audience.
If this will be
That's
in Fahrenheit, will be end of people will be scared. They will say tomorrow will be everything collapse.
Right.
But we wasn't go to school.
So tell me about school. When did you? What age were you when you started school?
8 year old.
So you started school at
Yes.
age 8. Okay.
And I started school where it was a language, Ukrainian language.
Okay.
Everything, math and grammar and all subject was in Ukrainian language. But out of school, everybody was speaking only Russian language.
Really? Now, why is that?
Because the Russian language in Russia was very popular.
Okay.
Same like everywhere in all around the world, popular what kind of language? English.
Right.
That's what Russia, every republic who was belonged to Russia was Russian language number one.
Okay.
And after was language what they live.
Of the individual republic.
Right, but some school, they like, I was going, when I was child, some school was Ukrainian.
Okay. So what kind of courses did you take when you were 8 years old? Do you remember?
Everything.
Everything?
Math, everything. Math, history about, until 7th grade, you learn algebra, some trigonometry,
Good.
arithmetic, calculation.
Right. Were you good at math?
I was very good, but not on projects. I'm very good with numbers.
Okay.
And because the project you have to see it and you have to spend, and I never can see it. I have to move.
So you were one of those kids that were running around
Right,
and got in
right.
trouble because you weren't sitting?
Right. I
Okay.
was, before go to school, we play soccer.
Okay.
And I put my books, and I was goalie and ring the bell, and I went over there. When I come back, my bag with my books gone.
Uh-oh.
That's what I remember too. So this kind of life was. In Russia, you can't leave nothing outside because you will not get it back.
Because you what?
Not get it back.
No, don't leave anything outside because you won't get it back. I hear you. Okay. Oh, that's a little scary, isn't it? Okay.
Not scary, but it's way of life.
Yeah, way of life. Okay. So you knew how to read before you started school at age 8?
No.
You learned
not
to
at all.
Not at all. So you learned to
In
read.
this time, nobody prepared children for schools. Our parents' life was so hard. You see, in Russia, when after World War finished, my mother, to get some products, she had to get up at 4 o'clock
In the morning.
in the morning and go in line to buy food.
Right.
And you stay in line. Line might be 2-3 hours on cold weather when the
So your mother got up at 4 a.m. to go stand in line.
And she was pregnant with my sister,
Your sister.
younger. It's this kind of life.
Very difficult.
Nobody right now can even imagine.
Right. Right.
That's why when some people look movies about life when World War II was and after World War II, they cannot even
Imagine.
imagine.
Right. So what was your father doing during this period?
My father was when World War II. He was an officer, and in Russia, most they don't have cars for drive. They have trains.
Right.
And they moved everything by train.
Okay.
That's why he was one of who worked on a train station.
Oh, okay.
Officer.
Right.
And after war, he still working on this, and he worked until he went retired.
Okay. So were you fascinated with trains? Did you ever go to work with him to see the trains?
No, I use train, but it's way of life. You go on train every day, when I mean you have train in city and you have train between cities.
Right.
But when because you don't have any in Russia in this time, people don't fly by airplane.
Right.
Like right now, first it was expensive, and second they didn't have airplanes for transportation.
Right. Yeah, airplanes came much later.
Yes, and I wasn't trained, but I wasn't sophisticated. I wasn't very.
Did you like the trains? I mean, trains are a big thing for children here. Everybody loves to
I
have
like
trains.
train. I like train, but it was boring if you go by train from one city to another. It takes so long time.
Oh, and you didn't like to sit.
Yes, Clara like it. She like read. You lay down on in train, and it's not like here. You only sit. Over there, you some have place where you rooms where you lay down and you can sleep and you can
on the trains.
read,
right.
and it's for some people it's very good.
Okay, all right. So, what did you enjoy doing in school? What sports? You like to play soccer before school?
I
you
play
said.
soccer.
Okay.
I
What
play
else?
basketball later. I play volleyball, but I finish seventh grade.
Mm-hmm.
And in this time, after seventh grade, you have to, if you go in eighth grade, you have to pay some money because it was, for government, it was very important to give children 7 years at school. And after you can go work,
right,
or you can go to special professional school.
right, like a trade school, right?
That's what I went to trade school.
Okay.
And I got they pay me some money. And after 3 months, I start my trade school was to make model shoes
Model shoes.
for women and men.
No kidding.
Yes.
You were a fashion designer for shoes.
Later I became fashion designer. What I did, I take magazine, copy like from outside country, because Russian shoes was not famous because everything was belonged to government. Okay. Outside you have competition and every designer wants better and better, nicer, and that's what keep going.
Right. So where did did you sneak these magazines in, or where did you get them?
Yeah, we buy some people in city Odessa, it's big ports.
Okay.
And people go to other countries by ships.
Right.
And they come back and they bring with them magazines.
So what countries were these magazines from?
Germany, Poland, American. Very, you see picture and you see shoes and you see style. That's what you copy.
Okay. So how old were you now? You were about...
I was 14-year-old.
14, okay.
13 I started in technical college.
Okay.
After 6 months they put me on assembly line.
Okay.
And I was like a robot working.
Yeah.
And but that was way of life.
Right.
We didn't know nothing
that's
better.
Right. No, that's your life, and that's
and after
this is a great story, by the way. This is fascinating.
And I went to night school. I finished night school.
How old were you when you went to night school?
13-year-old.
So you were on the assembly line doing shoes, and then you went to night school when you were 13 and 14.
You worked 9 hours a day.
Okay. So what were you doing?
6 days.
6 days. 6 days, no Saturdays off.
No.
Okay, that's a lot of work. So what were you going to night school for?
To finish my high school.
Okay. To finish high school.
Right.
Okay, so what were you studying?
I studied chemistry, I studied trigonometry, I studied geography. I look map and I see where is the United States, where is Portugal, where is Spain. Everything they put in my
Put
brain.
in your head. Okay,
Yes.
so you're working 9-hour days, you said, and then going
Night school.
night school
4 hours.
to get your like high school degree. Okay.
Yes.
So how many years did you do that?
Was 4 years.
4 years. So when you were what,
When
17?
I finished high school, they took me to army.
So you went to the army after, right out of
Yes,
school.
Yes.
Okay.
They sent me 2,000 miles away from home.
Where were you?
Turkestan.
Turkestan. All right.
Turkestan is border of Iran.
Right.
And I was on border between Iran and Turkestan. I was border man.
You were the border man.
They
at
gave me
17.
horse.
So you were on horse?
Yes, and I like it. It was my dream when I was young boy. Every Russian movie you see, the cycle on movies, and I was when I was child, I was so amazed. I like it, and I love ride horses, and when I can saddle any horse.
Really?
Everybody was surprised. I'm city boy, and I can sit on a horse like he listen what I do.
You were a horse whisperer.
Yeah.
That's great. So did you have a sword? You said it's a cycle?
They give cycles, they give you sports,
Okay.
and they give you carabin.
A what?
Carabin.
Oh, okay. A gun. Okay.
But after 6 months, they eliminate cycle and sports because it's you can't run for somebody who went across border with cycle. He will run faster than you. But really,
He can run faster than a horse?
no. You not sit all the time
Okay,
on
you're not
horse.
sit on horse,
Sometimes
okay.
you have to go without horse.
Right.
And you see when very, very cold, you don't ride horse on border. On border, Russian border was 2 people. One was in front with light, and most very hard was every night.
Every night.
Every night.
So how many hours were you out?
8 hours.
8 hours at night.
If you go to 2 o'clock in the middle of the night, you come back 10 o'clock. And you walk 20 miles with flashlight.
20 miles?
Yes.
You were in good shape. It was so there were 2 of you doing this, or just one of you?
2 people.
2 people.
Russian border was they closed it very good.
They did, okay. How did they
all
close
over
it?
the Russia.
Did they build a wall?
They built with how you call wires.
Okay.
But as soon you touch this wire,
Yeah.
it's go to station signal.
Okay.
And before this wires, you have about 20 feet boiling like powder ground. If somebody step, you can see it.
Okay, so you
That's
can see
why-
their footprints.
Yeah, you walk
in the
all
valley.
night and see
So that's
no,
what the flashlight was
no
for.
food.
Ah,
Yeah.
so were there a lot of people were people trying to come into Russia from Iran, or people
No,
leaving
in
Russia to Iran?
my time, one close where not close where I live, when I was in army, was one person who tried to escape from Russia,
Right.
and they catch him, and one person who came to, because Turkestan and Iran was family. His family was on Russian side, and he was in Iran side, and he tried to come to Russia, and they catch him.
Okay.
Yes,
All
well,
right.
that's kind of life.
Interesting.
But most Russian border was keep it people not go out of
Right.
Russia.
Right. You want to keep them in.
But we didn't know.
Okay. So how many years were you in the army?
3 years.
3 years. All right. So then you got out when you were 21.
Yeah.
And what did you do after that?
I went back to factory
Near Odessa?
Yes.
Okay.
Not near Odessa, in Odessa.
In Odessa.
Yeah, and work same, come back to my family, my mother, father, my sister, and start work again in the factory. And my mother.
What were you doing in the factory? Were you still doing shoes?
Shoes.
Okay.
And in this time, my mother and my father, my family, before I help my family.
Right.
All money what I make it, I give to my family. And
right.
They have first radio, they have some first mirror and furniture. When I left to army, if they don't have money for months finish, they borrow some money from friends. And when I come back, there was about 500 rubles behind. They own somebody, have to give back 500 rubles.
Right, 500 rubles.
And I have to start work again to help them
pay that back.
Pay back.
Okay.
And I did it after.
You're a good son.
And after I met Clara and I married.
How did you meet your wife, Clara?
Oh, she was working in factory. She was a dress designer.
Okay. She was working at the same factory you were in?
No.
Different
My
factory
was, but I walk all the time because I pass it where his factory was. I pass when I go to my factory. And I have friends who was working with her, girls. And one day she said, oh, hi. Hi. And she said, well, I would like to meet him.
Oh, nice.
And they introduced us, and that was...
That was it. Was it love at first sight?
No. We was dated for 3 years.
Yes.
And after we married.
Okay.
But I changed my profession.
Okay.
Because I always want to do by hand shoes. And this time, factory bought how you call machinery to make shoes.
Right.
And you have to stay all day and the machine make it, the shoes, and I was losing my feeling. I like make by hand a nice shoes, and this is machine does it.
Right.
And I start to look, and besides, its salary wasn't so good. It was very hard job, but salary was 100 rubles.
So what did you decide to do?
I find some friend who, all my life, I tried to do over there to make somehow better living.
Right.
But in Russia, everything is corrupted.
Right. I hear you.
If you want to find a job where you can make money, you have to have somebody who will give you chance to do it.
Okay.
Well, I met some person who was, he worked hard, but he was rewarded because people, when you bring, he was working in gas company. Gas companies, they have tanks, big tanks,
okay,
with gas, and they bring to every family every day.
Okay.
And if you bring to me some gas tank, I give you 1 ruble. Well, he got 30 tanks a day, he got 30 rubles.
Right.
Besides, salary wasn't so good, 70 rubles a month, government pay, because they knew they get money.
Okay. Okay, so Vlad, what was your final job in Russia?
I started working with gas lines.
Gas lines,
Right.
Okay, and that's what
I was foreman until I finished college, and after I went to night college.
Oh, so you got the degree. That's great. Good for Clara. All right. So Vlad, tell us when you and Clara and your daughter came to the United States.
In 1974, we decided to leave Russia, and we got visa from Claire's relative. She was living in Israel. When we came to Vienna, we went to American embassy and said we want to go to United States. And we wait, they sent us to Italy for 4.5 months. We stay in Italy 4.5 months, and after 11th of April 1975, we landed in New York. Sleep in New York, and next day we can go to New York, stay in New York, or go to Kansas City. We decided we'll better go to Kansas City.
That was great. It was really wonderful to learn about your life. I love it. And I know that Clara has made some wonderful food for us. She treated me even before we started the interview today.
Yes.
So we're going to move over to the table and
Of course.
introduce everybody to your beautiful Russian dishes.
Yes.
So Clara, tell me about this wonderful table of beautiful food that you've prepared
It's not
for
too
us.
much. It can be more. In Russian tradition, it's usually much more
Is it?
dishes.
Okay.
Yeah. But that is a borscht.
It's a soup.
It's
what's it made?
cabbage and beets and a potato. It's actually Ukrainian,
Okay.
more Ukrainian style.
Right.
It's very popular.
Oh, yeah. That's
And,
wonderful.
The other is appetizer. It's a salad. It's called in Russian vinaigrette.
A vinaigrette. And this
Yeah.
is the in the beautiful bowl that you've got there.
Yeah, it's
and
from
with
Russia.
chopped
It's
beets
original.
and potatoes and peas.
And this is a pierogi, name of the another dish.
And what is that made with?
It's inside is a chicken
Okay.
and a few eggs.
So did you make the pastry yourself?
Pastry I buy.
You buy the
I'm
pastry?
too lazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
but-
then what is this?
And this is real Russian food. It's came from Siberia.
Okay.
It's usually done in Siberia. It's done in bear meat. Of course, it's not chicken. I mean, in bear.
It's
a
not
chicken.
bear, it's chicken.
It's a chicken.